Well, a weekend away camping or maybe a peaceful bushwalk can be just the reset we all need to disconnect from our busy lives and reconnect with nature. But for filmmaker Diane Whelan, she wanted to push things just a little further, embarking on this remarkable solo trip, more than 24,000 kilometres across Canada.
The Trans-Canada Trail
connects 3 oceans. There are 24,000 kilometers of trails, and I'm going to try to travel from one end of the continent to the other.
I'm getting some help from some of my friends along the way, but I'm going to be doing most of the trail by myself. What matters is temperature, it's wind, and animal prints in the mud.
It's the wolf superhighway.
Go on, black bear. It is not running.
I know, I see that.
This is really intense, man.
We're stuck. We're not at Disneyland here.
No.
I'm lost.
That's what gets people killed, right there.
Amazing. Diane documented her entire trek on the longest trail in the world, which is now a stunning feature film called 500 Days in the Wild, although I think it took a little longer in the end. We are pleased to say Diane joins us in the studio. Tell us about the Trans-Canada Trail.
You bet. The Trans-Canada Trail is the largest recreational trail in the world. Technically opened up in 2017. As a filmmaker, I decided I was going to be the first to go out there and try to do it, and I left in 2015. And yeah, thought it was going to take 500 days. Spoiler alert, it takes 1,862 days. First thing I had to do is burn that schedule. But the trail itself is made up of land and water trails, 487 different trails stitched together, 8,000 kilometers I paddled a canoe, 16,000 kilometers I hiked, snowshoe, and rode my mountain bike.
What?
Yeah, Dee, why?
Well, a couple reasons. One of which is I'm a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker. So I've made a documentary on Mount Everest, and I've made a documentary up near the North Pole. So I was like, well, world's longest trail, nice little triptych. And then after this, it's just like making sea turtle documentaries or something, I don't know. But yeah, I just was really drawn to it for that reason. But also, you know, my personal life, I was going through some changes, and I just thought, you know, my marriage had ended, my dog had died, and I thought, well, sad time, but opportunity too to go do something I could never have done if those things hadn't happened. So yeah, I checked out to check in, as I like to say, you know, and it was fabulous.
What did you have to do, I guess, mentally to prepare? Because it sounds like you were going through a lot in your personal life.
Yeah.
What did you do, I guess, to get ready physically, spiritually, emotionally for the
Really
this
great
journey?
question, Ellie. I mean, yeah, you know, I like to say it was on-the-job training as far as the physical stuff, because, I mean, how do you prep for something like that, right? But I did. I went to the farmhouse where my grandmother had 14 children, had given birth to 14 children. My mom was number 13. And the farmhouse was empty, and I went there and spent 6 months there, just getting used to being alone, but also just really reconnecting to my ancestors and the land and really try to find the spirit of this film. And so in addition to being this adventure film of this crazy woman that goes out and does this trail, it's also a reconciliation journey. I stopped and I went to visit a Haida Gwaii elder, and I asked him, you know, how can I honor the ancestors on this trip as I travel across it? I love Canada, but, you know, people have lived there for 12,000 years, and I just wanted my story to have it all in it, you know, and honor everybody. And he gifted me an eagle feather, which I carried on my journey. And at the very end of the film, I returned to his community and I gift that to his granddaughter.
That's beautiful. This whole notion of travelling solo, if something goes wrong, you have to solve the problem.
That's
right. What's that like? And having to reconcile
sobering.
that?
You know, we taught you want to be in the moment. That's one way of keeping yourself in the moment, because, you know, you really do. You have to take that responsibility. And so, you know, when you take on these kinds of big trips, self-care is mandatory, and also just like really being present. And, you know, I laugh, right? On day 10, I burned my schedule. And it was a real crisis moment for me. I was like, oh, what am I doing out here? I'm never going to finish this, and da-da-da-da. And then I went, next morning, I'm just going to burn my schedule. And that was probably one of the greatest lessons, because what am I doing racing through this? It's not about the fastest way. It's about the most meaningful way. And that changed everything.
We love a love story, Dee, and I hear that you may have met your current partner on the trail.
Aw, that's very sweet. Yes, I did. So as I mentioned, you know, my marriage had ended before I left. So year 4, Some of my friends started coming out because they're like, hey, man, you said 500 days. It's been 4 years. So, yeah, my friend Louisa comes out, and we've been friends for 15 years. But after 5 months in a canoe dealing with 4,000 kilometers of paddling up to the Arctic together and bears and everything else, we just kind of looked at each other and went, if we can do this, I think we could kind of do anything. And, yeah, we're still together.
There you are, looking at you there.
So nice.
Both
so
of you
happy.
on the screen.
Yeah.
Good on you. What was it like to cross the finish line?
Very emotional. You know, all I could think about as I was paddling into shore, for a woman that wanted to be alone, right? This is a film all about connection. You know, trails connect us to ourselves, they connect us to each other, but they also connect us to the web of life, right? So that remembering just, you know, you look at this film, there's a 4.5-minute credit sequence. So I was helped by a lot of people, and that's what really filled my heart in that moment, was the currency of kindness that got me to the finish line.
It's a long
you know?
way.
My father-in-law lives in Montreal. I've been lucky enough to go to Canada for quite a few times. Beautiful place, but a lot of our viewers may not have been. What were your highlights? What would you recommend for Aussies who want to get over and see Canada?
Well, first of all, we love Aussies, you know, and you're already working all our ski hills. So I would say come not just in winter, and start exploring beyond just, you know, BC. Like, we've got Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, the Atlantic coast, you know, there's just so much out there, music, culture, and I know that the thing with the Maritimes is you will come home with friends you will have for the rest of your life. You will end up, you might think you're going to be staying in hotels, but I swear to God, by the end of that first week, you're at someone's kitchen table. I promise you. So, yeah, just spread your wings. You know, we're the largest country in the world. We got trails. We got everything going on.
Where are you going next?
More imperatively, we have open spaces, open minds, and open hearts, just like you do, right? So.
Where are you going next? Because I'd like to tag along. Wouldn't mind a few years off work.
You know what I realized this morning, though? Australia was with me the whole way. I only wore Blundstones.
Blunnies.
There you
The
go.
whole way.
Show them off. Show them off.
Okay, you got Australia was with me the entire journey.
You got to say blunnies.
Yeah,
Blunnies.
they're the best.
Yeah.
They're the
Awesome.
best.
Good
I
stuff.
love them.
Dee, thank you so
Love
much
your
for joining
energy.
us.
Well
Thanks.
done.